Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Okay, so what I've been working on these last couple of, well, okay, so yesterday I started airbrushing some primer onto a few different figures I got off of Etsy. Now, the last ones I did were from, I can't even remember the name of the company because it's hard to remember all the companies that produce these things. But primarily there were two minis in this bunch that I really needed or really wanted. One was exactly what I expected. Okay. The other was less so, if only that it was just too big. I wanted a mini I could actually play as a character. And obviously, you can't play like a giant figure as a character in general. So, but then I decided I might use it for some kind of a boss battle of some kind. He's pretty super cool. There's a lot of guys I really need to get going on, so I'm trying to start doing a little bit more airbrushing. I've got my airbrush going these days, yesterday, and really what it is so I've got this guy going right now. And you can see that he's kind of got. Let's actually take this around the other side. So this is Yugalu. Uh, Basically, he's the demon lord of the Knolls. He's obviously a bad guy, and he is a character that will be getting to take part in the campaign I'm currently running. So I will be trying to get him some extra paint. I don't really know the direction I'm going with this, but I'm gonna try and do a little bit more airbrush on him, just to play with it. He doesn't have any OSL kind of going for him right now. I mean, there's no like lights or anything like that. It'd be kind of cool to maybe do something. Maybe I have some glowy eyes effect or something, but I don't know. There's only so much I can do. I'm gonna start off by doing. I'm gonna try to get some white, a little bit more highlight on him, just to kind of, I don't know, complete the zenithal effect. So I'll probably just use like a simple white scar white. Now, what that means is I'm going to have to definitely mix it up because white scar white is just a base paint. It's not an airbrush paint, which means you got to kind of give it, some airbrush medium, something to thin it up. Now, what I like to do, what I'm starting to find by playing with setting this stuff up, is you put the airbrush medium into the pot first. The reason for that is even if you get this thing pretty well mixed up, you don't want the thick paint to be the first thing that's into the brush. So the airbrush medium being in there first, it's going to be the thing that flows fine. It's already going to be in there. It's going to fill the little hole to start. Then you mix it up in your pot, and by the time the paint starts to flow out, it's coming out mixed up with the airbrush medium. Now, I don't think you have to use. I don't think you have to use airbrush medium. You can use any kind of medium that works for you. I think it all works. It's all thinning it. It's the whole point of medium. But these are going to be quick like top-down sprays. I'll show you some of the other figures that I'm planning to paint. I got this nice big bottle of airbrush medium because I don't need a lot. Oops, putting the wrong thing on. Because this is not going to be a lot being put on. You see that these are my attempt at zenithal priming. I am not a master of zenithal priming any more than I'm a master of any other technique. But, you know, I'm not even going to write down on the app what I'm painting yet because, to be honest, I don't actually know what's going to be my primary paint task. But right now, I'm just prepping these guys, so. And I don't mind that this is going to be pretty thin. I'm trying to get it down to milky thick, which should be about where it's at. I was trying to paint yesterday with my black primer. I have an older, I mean, when I say older, I mean it's old. It's old. And I mixed it, shook it up and tried to get it. There was some goopiness in it. And my airbrush did not like it at all. Did not like it at all. And I think that's right. All right, so with this, I'm just going to kind of go down, do some top-down stuff, just enough to get some highlight, some extra, one layer of white to kind of pop the color a little bit more on him. There we go. That's pretty much the extent of that. That's all I'm doing is just the over-the-top part. I'll do the same with him. It's a higher version of the gray, so I'm not really even trying to meant to give a little bit more top of the thing. Okay, so this is one of the guys I really like. I mean, he is a really cool. This is one really super cool model. I'm hoping I can get it into place somewhere. He doesn't have a planned. I have nothing particularly planned for him right now, but I'm hoping. I'm hoping I can come up with something. We'll see. I'm sure I can come up with something. The question is what that something's going to be. I don't know yet. One of the things I did want to do is kind of bring the outsides, put a little highlight around the outsides, not necessarily the insides of the base. And that is just so that it I don't know, shadows better into the middle. Now, I didn't do a whole lot of basing on these guys. So I left a dark spot. That's for my dog to actually go over it. So it looks like he's kind of like sitting over the shadowy spot of the base. So maybe I'll go like that. Have his body kind of covering it up. It just makes it so that it's light on the outside. So when I start painting it with something, it's actually a little bit more I don't know, based. Okay, there we go. We are based up. Let's look see if I have any other guys here that can use a little bit of my paint here, so I don't have other guys that are kind of in the need of a little extra paint. Uh-oh. You know what? I'm losing juice. I can never tell if I left this on before. That's part of the problem. It's amazing how well things work when you actually turn it on. There you go. So this is now zenithal highlighting or zenithal priming is often about doing a little bit of, you kind of do, this guy's only ever been primed, I think. So the thing is about zenithal priming, as it is it's supposed to be a dark coat followed by like a gray coat followed by a light coat on top. And I haven't always done the light coat on top. That's what so like this guy, he's just gray. I didn't even do black. I didn't even do a dark coat on him, so this one's only got a gray coat and a... So he kind of falls out. He's not really a zenithal prime. He's just... But it helps pop some of their details. Now he's not holding on to like his staff and stuff because that's not actually over here right now. This is just me trying to use up my paint, so I don't really have any other particular reason. I did not give my dog a coating here. There you go. And the dog's got his zenithal prime going. I think that's it. This is a girl that I really want to paint, but she has not been primed at all, so I'm not sure I want to go straight to white with her because I'll probably be missing out on getting the rest of it done. And I don't know, can you prime the opposite direction? I mean, I suppose you can. White to... you know, black after, because it's just about the direction in which you're spraying, right? That'd be kind of an interesting character. A warlock in white. Death dressed in white. Is that a thing? That'd be kind of cool. Can you make a... There'd have to be like a lot... There'd have to be something dark about her, though, to really pull that off, I think. A scythe-wielding character dressed in white. It's like everything about her's black. Like maybe the staff, the scythe is like the harbinger of death dressed in white. I don't know. Sounds like it could be kind of cool. So the idea behind getting a lot of figures painted, for one, it gets sort of a lot more paint at once. I'm running out of white here, so I don't know how many more of these I'll do, but a lot of you guys are going to be extra prime just to get to the black. Just to do the dark parts, which will be coming from the other direction. So I was watching, what do you call it? Ninjon. He's one of the guys I watch. There's 3 people I typically will watch for ideas. Now there's others. There's other people out there that are pretty good, don't get me wrong. But the ones I typically watch, I'll look for their videos, are Ninjon, Miniac, and Squidmar. Now to be honest, Squidmar is not really a... You get ideas from Squidmar of how to do... of things to do, I think. Lessons-wise, okay, Squidmar's probably not the best place. It's not that he's not good. I just don't think he does lessons that often, or you know, how to do's. You know, he does reviews on stuff. Pretty cool. And they are talented painters. Him and his buddy. His buddy's probably a better painter than he is, but he's not bad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just think the guy he paints with is really good. So that said, but Miniac and Ninjon, they paint some nice figures. These guys know their stuff. So definitely would recommend if you're looking for people to look at, to actually learn painting from, actually figure out how to be a better painter. Check those guys out. So that's my feedback on that. Okay, so that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and clean out my brush, and let's look at getting some actual colors onto some of these guys. So, now, Ninjon is very good at wearing a mask. Good for him. I need to wear a mask. I was wearing a mask yesterday. I'm not wearing one right now, and that's probably not too good. I recommend always wear a mask. So don't do as I do as I say. just better. You don't want to breathe this stuff in. I mean, it is, you know, water-based. It's non-toxic, but still, you know, you don't want this junk in your lungs. Well, got a little bit of a goop going on down there. I mean, it is washing out, but not as much as I'd like. Just get this some more. Yeah, it's way better. Way better. Almost done. I'll give it one more little drip or two here. We should probably be good to go. See, it still comes back white. It flushed my water white. I don't want my water to turn white. Which means that goop that's in there. There's goop. You never want goop in your airbrush. So obviously I didn't get my bottle shaken up enough. That's the thing. You gotta make sure your paints are well shaken. Especially if they haven't been used in a while. I don't know why this keeps coming back. Flushing back white, so there's still gunk in there. One thing I haven't figured out fully in my brain, what's the difference between thinner and medium? Alright, we're good. We got it. Got it nice and clean. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the next thing. I'm going to go ahead and get some colors in here. I'm going to go ahead and do my next... let's do some... What should I do? Well, I actually want to paint my... Yugoloth or Uligo or whatever his name is. One of these days I'm going to go look it up again, figure out his name so I'm not butchering his name all the time. But he's going to need some color of the gray variety. Gray? No. What color do you think he's probably some kind of a demon dog who's probably mostly black, but I'm not doing black. How about like a... I'm going to go with a reddish fur. So maybe a reddish brown or maybe even a black. How about a really dark red? Red and black, or maybe red and black with some interesting gray. I don't know. Let's see what we can do with this guy. He's demon-y, but I don't want him to be demon colored like you know, like red. I'd like him to be kind of a, kind of a dark brick red. So I got like this color. Maybe as a base, maybe the base coat can be a brick red for most of his fur. Now I'm going to allow it, when you do airbrushing, good luck on getting it exactly where you want. So what you do is you basically get all the areas you want covered in the airbrush, and you don't worry about the other stuff. Try not to get it covered up. You are doing a base coat. And ideally, I should probably get me a mixer, but I don't have one. So what I've got is a massage gun, which works wonders. I mean, it's an excellent form of. I gotta put this guy's name down. I don't know what his name is though. I'm not sure of the proper speed to use. Compared to like I don't know, there's the, what do you call it, the hydro thingamabobber. What's it called? The, I don't know, how fast do those devices spin that you just put it on and it just spins it for you. You don't have to hold it. I have to hold this because if I don't, the bottle will fly off. It's being held on by a band. So I get a nice massage on my hand. Or on my leg. If I put it on my leg, it's a good opportunity for me to, if I put it on my leg, I can get that, you know, work out some of those muscle workouts from the morning if I want to. But I don't know, is more violent better? Do we want it to shake up more violently? What's the ideal way for a bottle to shake? I can certainly hear the, I have this on almost max right now. It's currently set at 17. And the one thing you know about the Cyclone thing, whatever they sell online, which are pretty expensive by the way. Probably cost about as much as this thing does, except that they don't give you a massage. Now they say you should do it at 2 minutes if you haven't shaken in a while. I'm pretty sure I have not used this paint in a long time. I'm using brick red. There is actually a black red. But I think brick red's pretty good. It's a pretty dark red. I'm going to go ahead and add on this character. We're going to go D&D Monsters. We're going to go ahead and... Can I not move that? What is that? I don't know where you get that on. Okay, so we're going to add... Oops. Nope. Go D&D Monsters. Nope. How do I add one? I guess I got to figure out how to do that here. Oh, here we go. Add. Create sub-project. Okay, so I gotta look him up. I'm not gonna look him up now. We'll call him a demon Lord of Knolls. I'll change his name later. Okay, so he's the Demon Lord of Knolls. We'll click here and just hit start. Alright. So his base is going to be brick red for now. And yep, that's what my brain is telling me to do. I don't know if it's my brain is just misleading me, but we'll find out. I am going to use some airbrush medium. Again, putting a fair amount in there. I actually want this to get pretty thin. I don't know how thin it is, but this is a base color. This is a Reaper paint, so I don't know how well it's going to work. Reaper paints are okay though. They're historically I mean, I like them as a paint option. But it feels like perhaps. Youch. should be clear enough. I don't usually do this much airbrushing, to be honest. This is not really my thing, airbrushing. I don't know. Just because I don't typically, I find airbrushing to take long. But then again, what doesn't take long? I mean, everything takes a little bit of time, right? So I'm only gonna try to hit the fur parts, his legs, his body, his neck, that kind of thing. We'll see how accurate I can do that. All right, let's see how that goes. Oh, let's be a good example doer. And put this on. I shouldn't say to put on mask and then not do it myself. So put on your mask. But I'm doing it close to the ground here, so I'm minimizing splatter, keeping it close to my paper towel, and minimizing how far it sprays out. I might have to tone him down a little bit, maybe give him a black wash. Just go over him lightly with a black tone of some kind. It's really hard to see. I don't know if that's better to be with my magnifying glass or not. So here's a trick. I'm trying to airbrush. I don't know why I'm using an airbrush, to be honest. Because I don't think it's necessarily necessary. But I'm doing it for something different. He's a bigger guy, so it does take a little bit more. And I want to see. Now I've got my new airbrush. My new airbrush compressor, which is, I gotta say, pretty dang nice. I think I've got most of him painted. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I don't think I made an effort to target his arms much. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything on his arms. I want to say a Yinagao. Okay. It's like it's a weird It's a weird word. It's like Yeenoghu or something like that. So that's probably what doesn't help. Therefore, it's hard to remember to correct. So I'm making sure I got all his skin if I can. It is a pretty cool color. Once it gets on there pretty good. I will say this though, it isn't. Airbrushing is not a precision sport. I mean, not for me. This is a pretty high pigment paint, so I don't know how much my zenithal highlighting is going to help. My zenithal priming. Because, well, fact is, high pigment paints tend to blur a lot of that out. So I might end up having to do my own highlighting later. Such is the way. But I do believe I've pretty much got everything on this round. Here. Got his hands, I got his head, got his face. Did I get his neck? Did I get under his chin there? There. So he's kind of got his colors. I don't know who else I want this color on though. So he might not be able to reuse this one. And I put a lot. Now, since it's medium, I can't theoretically just pour this back in here. It's not water. I mean, even water is not the worst thing in the world, right? So what it does is it'll just thin my paint a little bit, give it a little bit more life. I don't think throwing a little bit of medium into your bottle is all that big of a deal. So just plop that extra back in there. It's not that it has that much medium, and for the amount of paint that's still in this bottle, I really doubt it's going to make any difference at all. Alright. Now, once again, I take this, get the majority of the paint out, throw in a little brush cleaner, a little bit of water. Try to I'm doing this is that the idea is that it pushes back whatever paint's in the bit and runs it through the cleaner and the water and thins it out enough that when I start blowing it out here, it should hopefully it'll come out not only very quick, but it'll help take a lot of the paint with it. Any paint that's in the tube. So like right there, it's actually looking pretty clean. That doesn't look bad at all, actually. I like to put a little bit of just clear water so I don't have to see what else is there. And then see if it comes back dirty when I do this. Actually, it doesn't look too bad at all. Nope, pretty clean actually. So we'll just run that water out. Done and done. Okay. So, next color. Let's go with I don't know. I want to do more on him. So how much do I trust me to put paint on anywhere else that doesn't get it on the stuff I don't want? That's the question. Do I trust me any further than I can do that? Okay, so I have, let's see here. Let's say Gravelord Gray. Now, Gravelord Gray is not meant for him. This I'm actually going to put on the Hound, which is basically like a Knoll Hound. He's a big, mean hound guy. Now these have shaker balls in them. So you'd hope that helps. I don't know the proper amount of time for a high-speed shaking up, but it's definitely giving it a hopefully a good go. I've heard 2 minutes, if you have the patience for it. And to me, as long as it looks kind of the same in the bottle. With these thinner paints, these contrast paints. Now contrast paints are very airbrush friendly. They're very thin, they're very, that's their purpose in life, right? To be thin. But they also you need to put a generous layer when you're putting them on. So they're meant to be put on with abandon, I guess. Is that the term I'm looking for? So what is it to spray a contrast paint? To be honest, I'm not sure. It's just really hard to get in close with my magnifying. Now, I'm painting them all one color with this Grave Lord Gray. But that's not going to be, I'm going to put a lot of highlights and other junk on him. I'm just calling him out. This is going to be essentially what amounts to his base coat. And then that one actually rinsed right through. I mean, I knew it would. I'm not going to spend too much time cleaning that one out. That one really went through fast. Let's get that out of there quick. We won't waste too much time with that one. And then we'll switch over to that's a good color for him. You know what? I'm gonna do something similar with I did with the other one, with his Demon Lord, since I consider him a hound of sorts, of the Knoll variety. I'm going to put some of this in his fur. All of his fur areas I'm going to spray with this just a little bit. See what I can do, get the color. He's not the most stable guy. So now keep in mind, this guy is, I mean, me trying to be creative. That's about all this is. I do have another null guy. I should probably paint. Let's go ahead and give this guy a little bit. I don't know if he's a null. He's not technically a null, but because he doesn't belong to this game. But you know what? Screw that. Now he doesn't have, as you can see, he's got the null head, but he's not really. This guy's got kind of a nullish head, but he's really kind of got a very human body. So I think what I might do with him is give him more of a, just a dark skin tone, while still giving him that. So shows I've been watching lately. I watched, my wife and I watched the Yellow Jackets. 2 seasons that there are. A little disappointed in the ending, both of us. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but it was not, we're not sure what we think of how it ended. Let's say that. Now there are supposedly more seasons coming. The rumor has it that the creators are planning 5 seasons for this show, and there's definitely more to be told, story-wise, but we're not sure what we. There's a lot of bad guys. Bad guys? Is that the word I'm looking for? Maybe not a lot of bad guys. A lot of guys, a lot of characters that you're like, who am I rooting for here? Who do I want? Who is not too bad? And then, of course, you know, deaths and all that kind of thing occur. Not always very, it's like, why? Why kill off that character? I don't know. That doesn't seem like a great plan. But I guess we'll find out. This guy's like half man, half knoll. I don't know. He's got like a knoll head and a body of a man. I'm going to give his skin kind of a hue that looks like this without actually coloring it completely. Just kind of give him that I am a null vibe. Well, of this vibe, of the red gnolls. The tribe of red gnolls. But without actually being fully on red like the other ones. Alrighty. I think it's kind of where I wanted him. Well, nobody else really around here I want to put this color on, so I think, yeah. And I said that before when I put the paint away the first time, but when I decided the hound was going to get it, oops. And then I decided, well, there's got to be somebody else. And there was. At least one. I actually have another knoll like this, but right now I'm not going to worry about it. He's not around here. He's not ready to be painted. Now, if your paint's mixed up well, you won't get the problem of, getting the goop at the bottom, and it should rinse out pretty good. Just like that. That's pretty good. I do like to mix it with water when I do sand. Just not because I'm trying to dilute the soap, just because I'm trying to spread the soap out, so I don't have to keep putting it in. Because you need more running through the airbrush than just one little bit. You need lots to flow through to keep dragging out, washing out any paint, anything that's in there. So adding some water to your cleanser will help. Alright. So what's next? What's my next color? That's the question of the day. Let's go ahead and move him out of the way. He's not primary on this. Primary is this guy. How about some color on... Oh, you know what? I didn't do his tail. Dang it! Gurgly murgly. And it's only a tiny little bit. I don't want to put paint in for a tiny little bit. Gosh darn garnet. How did I miss his tail? See, now I like get his arms, get all the areas in his arms, get his head, get it. And then I miss his tail. Darn me. I don't even know where I put the bottle at. Dang gummy. I gotta put more on. That's not the way I wanted to do it. But I'm going really light on this because I really don't want to put much. And I just cleaned up. Well, at least I cleaned up quickly. Hopefully. It's not that easy to actually get paint in some of these angles. Okay, so I got his tail. And I don't have that much paint left, which is good. I'm not going to put that back. It's too small of an amount. Do have to rinse it out though. I think we're good. No, it's just a fair amount of paint in there. Alright, that should do it. But I got to make sure I double check. So the question is, what's the next color I do? Okay. What should I go next? Kind of getting to that point where I'm going to have to, at some point, say, you know what? I can't do this. I can't use the airbrush anymore because I'm not really all that great at using an airbrush. And if I do use it too much, I will get paint in places I don't want it. Like, how do I avoid his tail? So yeah, I think I may have to stop there with the airbrush. I'm not comfortable with trying to paint him completely in this color with an airbrush. So I'm gonna have to stop there. And then some of these other guys don't really have. I don't really have a strategy for. So there's a thing weird about this guy. I don't know if I like. He's got this thing on his back, and he's got two hands holding it. I know, he's kind of a skeleton devilly guy, but that's just such a weird thing. I don't know if I like that. Just seems like it was just one of those things, you know, the designers, like, the guy who's molding is going, what can I do now here to just give him a little bit more weirdness? Oh, I know. Let's make two hands come out of his back and hold this thing up on his back. And I'm like, is that a thing? All right, so that's 40 minutes. I think I'm going to stop for now. I do plan to come back and finish some more later. I think my next objective is I'm actually going to start laying down some paint on his armor and chains and start getting that stuff to come up. And maybe, actually, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's why I'm stopping. You're gonna laugh. It's because I'm being lazy. I don't want to move all my models. I have nowhere to put them all because I have let myself get too crowded. If I showed you what my desk actually looks like in front of me here, you would see disaster. You'd be like, what? How can you live this way? And I'd be like, well. And the thing is, for me, it's frustrating because it's not me. This is not my style. I don't like. I'm an organized person that gets too much stuff and I get disorganized, and then I have to spend time organizing again, and then I get organized, and then just stuff flows and makes me unorganized again. So it's a constant shift back and forth of how I need to go about the next step in my process. So I've got a lot of minis out here that are like saying, hey, paint me next. But I got to go, well, there's things that are actually coming up in storyline that I've got to hit first. So as a result, I kind of got to give those things priority, right? It's like this guy. I've got 3 guys, the demon, the gnoll, and then I've got the dog, and I've got this guy, who are all, you know, on the docket for coming up soon. And then I have this guy also, who is also on the docket for coming up soon. He was one of the last guys I actually did some airbrushing on before my previous air compressor died. And so he just got basic coloring too. So I've got a lot to get him going. Got to start getting him into the right state of completeness. He's a long way to go. He don't have that much. I mean, there's not a lot of detail on him, so it's going to be a lot of just trying to call out highlights, that kind of thing. So he doesn't have a lot of things I have to worry about coloring. But these guys are coming up soon. He might be coming up sooner than I expect. You never know when the party's going to decide, hey, let's go back and finish that. And I got to, if I give them a means to get there, and I make up stuff as I go. So as a result, I find myself like, oh, this is a good place to stick that. Oh, hey, look, they have a portal back to wherever. And then in my head, I'm going, oh, shoot, I don't have that area ready. Why did I give them that? Why did I give them that portal? No, I got to figure out how to get this done. Oops. So yeah, that happens. That's a thing. So it's interesting because I have this base that they sent me, and I don't know what figure it was meant for, because none of these figures actually fit on it. So I don't know what did I get that came with this, this base was for. I don't know. Maybe it was his. Could be that it was meant to be his, but oh well. He's a large fig, so I'm gonna let him be. I gotta put him on his base, but I kind of want to do something with his base, you know, maybe put some grass, rocks, something around him. So I kind of want to base that. So I'm not sure. So I've been painting him without his base for now. Thing is, it's just easier to paint when they're on a base. So now, okay, so I got my my dog here. We'll just put him off the side for now. Got an axe over there. I don't even know what that goes to. I dropped something over here and I'm trying to find it. That's where I disappeared to. Bounced off my leg. I thought it bounced over there. Thing is, it wasn't a very small piece, so I figured I'd see it quickly. Interestingly enough, I don't even know if I care about that piece. It's just like a microscopic piece of one of the weapons, and it's like, do I really care? Is it going to be worth the effort to put it back? painting my hands, which is one of the unless you're gonna wear gloves, you're gonna get paint on your hands while airbrushing. You can't be precise without using your hands. Sorry, not gonna happen. You can't be precise without using your hands. That's just the rule of airbrushing. There's people who use, they'll use an airbrush box, but you can only do a mass brush, turn them, turn them. You still got to use something on your hands because you got to turn them more, unless you have a rotatey thing, which might work too. But again, it's just for bulk painting. You're not going to get precision painting that way. You want precision painting, you got to hold the dang thing in your hand. You got the whole mini in your hand. You got the whole mini in your hands. The whole mini in your hand. So paint's gonna end up too. I don't actually need that. Okay, so let's go with, what's the next color? So he's got a lot of skull looking things on here. I don't know what kind of skulls those are. Those aren't human skulls. I mean, I know they look mean and all, but they're just like, he's got skulls of demon heads on his weapon there. What would a metallic brown look like, huh? No? Is that a thing? What a fleshly metallic. Fleshly metallic? No? Maybe not metallic. Maybe I just go with a fleshly color. Okay, so one of the bone, there's actually a bone color that I have that actually makes for some pretty nice looking bones. I mean, the coloring just feels right. And it is I believe it's oh no, is it the pallid bone? No, it's not pallid bone. That's not it. It's a bone color, but it ain't pallid bone. I want to say it is actually a Vallejo bone color, but I'm having trouble finding it at the moment. There's pallid bone. Green skin. Oh, I think this might be it right here. Oh, that's just tan. That's not it. Barbarian flesh. Pretty sure it is not. It's not pallid bone I'm looking for. What's the one I want, man? Coloring the tops of my bottle, so it should make it easier to find it. In theory. In theory. Yes, of course, that's one of the ones I did not color. Aha! Skeleton bone. That's the one. And no, it's an army painter paint. I knew it was something like that. Now, this is an airbrush paint. Now, I'm not going to be painting with airbrush because it's too... The thing is about an airbrush paint is they're thinner. That's really what their claim to fame is, right? They're just thin paints. The thing is, I don't know if I want these skeleton skull things on his thing to actually look like skulls. I want them to be painted like... I mean, I want them to look like skulls, but not like decorative skulls, like not actual skulls. So I don't know if this is the best solution. That's why I was thinking going with a metallic or just doing something with this skeleton bone to make it look, I don't know, different, odd, kind of out of the ordinary, but yet metally. Like maybe if I mix it with pearl violet color shifter. Be creative, Ken. Just do it. Go for it, man. What's the worst that can happen, right? What's the absolute worst that can happen? Nothing. Nothing bad could possibly ever happen. It's just creativity. If you don't like it, paint over it. Now, what I'm shaking here is my, this is my color shifter paint. Trying to get a nice little blending, making sure that it's not going to have a weird. Now, color shifter paints are a metallic paint that just tend to look different in different lights. They're kind of weird. So I don't know that mixing it with another color is going to do anything other than weird it out. But it does have some metallic tones in it, and it's going to turn this skeleton bone into a little bit more purplish, reddish color. Let's mix up my skeleton bone, nice and thin. Now this is an airbrush paint, like I said, so it's pretty thin already, but I just want to make sure it's well mixed. Not going to spend too much time mixing this, like I said. I want to just make sure it gets a good... And then we're going to go experimenting. We're just going to... I don't even know if I have space on my board for this, man. I'm kind of low on... This whole palette is probably pretty ready to be wiped. Still pretty wet. I'm surprised, actually. Hopefully... That's enough water for now. Now, one thing about this paper is it does spread out as it gets wetter. I need more water. Be right back. Alright. I think I've got my paper officially wetted. And my sponge sufficiently wet with it. Which is probably going to make my paints water down quite a bit. So I won't need to add any water, that's for sure. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. We'll just do right in the middle because this is probably going to be pretty. A couple of drops of that. We'll do a 2 and 2. How's that? That's why it's easy proportions to remember. 1, 2. All right, 3. I'll do 3. Just because that one had some bubbles in it. Now, can you mix color shifter Vallejo with not color shifting Warhammer? Don't know, but we're gonna start slopping it on here, and we'll know in a minute how it works. It'll be interesting, if nothing else. It'll be an experiment for sure. Alrighty, here we go. I didn't put any flex on this guy, so I can't even put him on my magnet. So I truly don't have a lot more time. I just wanted to push out a little bit more. See about getting a little bit of this skulls painted, I guess. With my new funny color. My color shifting bone palette, bone pearl color. I have no idea. It's almost like these are carved out of it, but I don't know if they're carved out of it, or if they're glued onto it, or what these skulls, how they're. So it's like they're not even skulls. It's like they're just decorative fronts on the. On whatever they're attached to, so they're not. They're just intimidating fixtures. So being skulls, they have I'm giving them a little bit of a. But they're not actual skulls. Being a demon lord, he's got to be intimidating. Be afraid of me. I've got skull-shaped things on my armor. That's actually, this is kind of giving it a kind of a sparkly metallic. Thing is, it's one of those metallics. It's only going to show up if you hit it with light. So I don't know. In general, you aren't going to hit it with light, right? I mean, you hand it to someone to look at, unless they're looking at it in a well-lit area. It does kind of give it a metally look, which I do like. Now, granted, this is kind of a top piece. Again, not typically considered a good idea to paint the top pieces first, but it's kind of like, you know, I think my brush, this is not my good brush. This is my older brush. I think I need to switch. Yeah, you can tell because it's got really spread out. The brushes are, the bristles do not stay together. It's just seen better days. I really gotta take this one off the table, so I stopped picking it up. Used to be one I used for a really long time because the bristles lasted a really long time, but eventually it just doesn't anymore. I can't seem to regenerate it anymore with my soap and holding it, you know, getting it back into play. It just doesn't hold its shape anymore, which is unfortunate because it was a good brush. But I have another brush that's supposed to be just like it. And I don't know. For some reason I keep picking this one up. Okay. Well, that'll probably look better when I start putting the contrast parts of it on. He doesn't have any more of those little scully things, does he? Oh yeah, I guess he does have a couple more. So can I successfully avoid getting paint on these things because they're kind of on the top, but you shouldn't be painting top items at the beginning, Ken. But they are kind of the cool focal points, so I wanted to, well, focal on the focal points, focus on the focal points. So that's my bad. They're the things that are going to draw the eye, right? Now this might actually be a skull he's got dangling off of his belt here. I mean, why would you have it down here? Serves no functional purpose other than to intimidate. This looks kind of like it could be a human skull of sorts. It's angry. But maybe it's just metal like that. So we'll paint it the same for now. Can always change it up later. He's got a number of these little skull things on him that are just kind of hanging off of his body. So my daughter went on I won't say a date, but she went with two guys that she kind of likes to this museum or something. Well, one guy, I mean, it's a both, but one of them more so than the other. She kind of likes, and it was kind of an accident. It was like one of them invited people to go to this thing, and she was one of the first to say, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. It's fun. But nobody else said yes except for her and this other guy. And I am curious. She got back today, and she said she was worried because felt like it was going to be really awkward, her being the only one with them. So I am curious how it went. But, you know, as a dad, how can I not be? No. But at the same time, you know, it's like, you know, I just want her to be happy, find somebody she can relate to, that she likes and likes her, and, you know, hoping for the best for her, of course. But also a little protective. I want to know more about these characters. Like, that's natural too, I suppose. I want to hear the stories of, you know, how they are. Just because it helps me to gauge them better should the day ever come when I meet them. What to expect as a dad. Okay, so the water on my palette is definitely watering down these paints, which is probably going to make these be a little bit less if the more water seeps into it. But it's going to take a couple of coats because they're so thinned out. Not on the upside. When I go back to do the rest of this. All right. So we're getting there. We're getting some stuff going. But for now, I do definitely want to call it for now. I will hopefully try to come back a little bit later and progress. We'll see what I can accomplish. What is my forecast? I don't know. I'll try. I can't even get these bristles to come together after being wound together. So they are definitely... All right, so I'm not actually going to close my palette. I'm going to let it dehydrate a little bit. So leave it to sit out for a minute. Let some of that water evaporate. Hopefully I'll remember to come down and put the lid back on it later. Gotta let it thin a bit. But we'll go here, hit pause. Maybe I should take a picture, at least a progress photo, huh? And where are we so far? Well, go here, photo. Can't see much of him, really. Dang it. It's not really a good way to get a good shot of him, to be honest. Here, let's take that timer off so that stops annoying me. But there you go. There's progress photos for today. First time shot. Till next time. Take it easy.